So the other day, I started watching The Pit, finally. I know I should have started like a month ago, but in my defense, I was on a hospital ship in Madagascar. And the same day that I started, Governor Josh Shapiro of Pennsylvania posted this on Threads. He said, "We're facing a critical shortage of healthcare professionals, especially in our rural communities. But we have the power to fix this. Let's come together to strengthen our healthcare workforce pipelines by expanding loan repayment programs for doctors and nurses who agree to serve our rural communities." Now, next week, I'm going to talk a little bit more about The Pit and about how habits that we have formed that have made us successful also keep us stuck in places that we don't want to be. But for today, let's talk about Shapiro's post. On the surface, this sounds like a great plan, right? We don't have enough healthcare providers in rural communities in this country, so let's recruit more healthcare providers to rural communities in this country. Makes sense. It's simple, it's targeted, it's directed, right? It should work. Before I tell you why this is not the best plan and why it might actually backfire on Shapiro, two pieces of information that you should know. First, we are recruiting doctors just fine. In the 6 years since 2019, the number of medical school entrants has increased 6%. At the same time, the population has increased 1.8%. And yet, somehow, in the next 10 years, the US is predicted to be 200,000 doctors short. What's going on here is the same thing that happens in a lot of industries. I have worked in healthcare. I have worked as a university professor. I have worked in the NGO sector, in the charity sector. Each of these sectors is super value driven, right? You go into teaching because you want to teach the next generation. You go into medicine because you want to help people. You go into charities or NGOs because you want to do good in the world. And all of these value-driven professions suffer from a remarkably similar misconception. Universities, for example, are notorious for treating their junior faculty pretty terribly. And the reason for this is basic supply-demand. The minute that I get tired of it, the minute that I'm done, the minute I turn in my ID card for that university, there is somebody else, there's 12 other people waiting in the wings for my particular spot. So universities don't really necessarily need to invest in the really expensive proposition of retaining their faculty because there's a whole bunch of other people who want to come into their spots. The same thing is true in the charity sector. If you've got a big enough, cool enough NGO that does cool work, then you don't need to invest in retaining your volunteers, retaining your employees, because there's somebody else who wants to do that really cool work. I want you to imagine that you've got a pipe. You've got a pipe that's attaching your house to a reservoir, and that pipe's been there for 50 years, 80 years, 100 years. It's been functioning fine. You've got good enough water pressure, your kids are able to drink, you're able to cook, etc. You're doing just fine. Your sink works, you're great. But over the 50, 80 years, that pipe has started to suffer under the constant water. It hasn't been maintained, and it's starting to spring leaks. So at every joint, at every welded joint, this pipe is springing some leaks. For a long time, you don't notice it because there's enough water coming into that pipe that you don't lose water pressure when you're trying to shower. Except eventually your water pressure starts to go down, your kids are having a harder time washing the dishes, and you know that something's got to be done. And you've got two choices. The obvious choice, you got to fix the pipe. Except that's really expensive. That requires hiring a team. That probably requires you shutting down the water for some time, and you don't want to be without water. It's a really expensive, really complicated, really difficult proposition to fix the pipe. The other thing you can do is call your friend who works at the municipal water supply and just ask him to turn the spigot up into your house. Right? You've been friends with him forever. You know the kind of donuts that he likes. You give him a couple of dozen donuts and he'll turn a little bit more water up. He'll send a little bit more water down to your pipe to your house. That's easier. The cost of 2 dozen donuts, much lower than the cost of replacing a pipe. And it works for a bit. If you have enough of a pressure head going into that pipe, you can overwhelm the leaks that are leaking out of the pipe and still get enough water to your house so that you can shower, so that you can wash your dishes. You realize the problem though, right? If you have high pressure coming into a pipe that has leaks in it, there's going to be pressure at those leaks. Those leaks are going to worsen, and you're going to eventually set yourself up for a death spiral. This brings me back to Shapiro's post. Now listen, I have no beef with Shapiro himself. I don't even live in Pennsylvania, and honestly, incentivizing people to go into rural healthcare is a very good thing, but it does not go far enough because all Shapiro is doing here is trying to turn the water spigot up. He's calling his friend Homer, and instead of giving him 2 dozen donuts, he's promising loan repayment, and he's hoping that more people go into the pipe of rural healthcare, and he's not addressing the reason that people are leaving. He's taking what my marketing friends call a top of the funnel approach. Get enough people into the pipe the downstream leaks won't matter. The problem in Shapiro's case is that unlike in academia, or unlike looking for additional volunteers for a charity, the well can run dry. The reservoir is not limitless. Between 30 and 40% of physicians want to leave their practice in the next 2 years, and nurses are the same. There are about 1 million doctors in the US, which means 300 to 400,000 physicians want to leave their practice in the next 2 years. We train about 30,000 doctors every year. And the thing is, in my coaching practice, I work with people across the healthcare spectrum, doctors, nurses, PTs, chiropractors, vets, dentists, etc. Not a single one of these people wants to stay doing full-time clinical care. They all want to change a little bit, whether they want to change how much they see their patients, whether they want to change where they see their patients, or whether they want to leave altogether and become cabinet makers. These people are leaving medicine. Very few of them are saying, yep, I'm good where I am, I just need to do more yoga. And that's because many of us responded to a top of the funnel call and were sucked into a system that is built on the backs of us just keeping our heads down, showing up day in and day out in medicine, and that leads to burnout. Instead of just trying to push more people into the pipe and try to overwhelm the leaks downstream, it's time to fix the downstream leaks in the pipe. But that'll take a bravery from our elected officials that goes far beyond just loan repayment systems. It'll take replacing the system built on our backs with a system built for sustainability, a system built for retention, a system built for patients and not for profit. And look, is it a bad thing to turn up the spigot? Not at all. Please do that. Please implement loan repayment programs, but don't stop there, because eventually the reservoir is going to run dry. I write a lot more about this in my blog post this week. If you want to read it, DM me with the phrase "fix the pipe." And if you're a doctor, a nurse, a vet, a dentist, a nurse practitioner, somebody who's in healthcare who's felt this pressure and is looking to make a change, please send me a DM and I will send you to a free masterclass on the 5 shifts you need to make to get out of burnout. Talk to you next week.